Have you ever caught yourself editing your dreams, your choices, your passions because you're concerned about how it might look to someone else? What if I told you that the real breakthrough only happens when you start seeing yourself through your eyes and not their lenses?
Teach her how to jump and how to stretch when she reach, like the angels do, and you gon' make it through now. Tell about the healer, greater is the one within, and call him as the leader.
Living through your own eyes look like trusting your intuition, trusting your faith, believing in your core values, and trusting the experiences that you personally had or those that you have learned from. Their lens, however, refer to the things that you see on social media, the things that you see that makes you compare yourself and compare your life to others. Societal pressure, the timelines, you should be doing this by that, you should be doing this at this stage, cultural pressures, family expectations, peer pressure, and one of the worst ones, the opinions of those that don't even know you personally. You see, we learn to people please when we're children. That is where we learn to perform for others. We do things because we want to be loved and validated by our parents, by our peers. That is when we learn to say yes or to say no because we want to please others. During our childhood is where we learn to give this to your friend or they're not going to talk to you anymore, or they're not going to play with you anymore. So we learn at that age that we need to do things for others to welcome us to the group, for others to embrace us, for others to befriend us, even for others to see us as important. The media, social media, helps shape how we want to look, how we want to show up, where we want to go, how we want others to see us. And then we often find ourselves in this spiral of comparison after comparison. With each scroll, you find something else to compare yourself to. When you start living through other people's lenses, that's when you suffer from identity confusion. Because one minute you might be looking at a post, and let's say you're a woman listening to or watching this. In one instant, you see an aesthetic that you love. I love how she looks. I love this classy old money look. And next thing you know, you get online, you start ordering these things to fit that particular aesthetic. And then you scroll another day and you see someone and she's all for bright, cheerful, summery colors. And you're like, yeah, you know what I need? I need some color in my closet. That's where you will continue to change your hairdos. You will continue to want to change your car. The neighborhood that you live in might not be enough. The way your children look might not be enough. The way your partner looks, the things that your partner does for you might never be enough, because with each scroll, there is something else that you can compare yourself to. You might see one of your old schoolmates and, oh my God, she's a career woman. That's what I want to be. Now you start looking at schools that you want to go to. You might start and never even finish. And then you come across someone that says, I'm going to teach you how to use your social media to make this amount by this time. And suddenly you want to be a content creator. Then in a couple of months, you're like, oh my God, this is hard. This actually takes work. Next thing you know, you're starting a business that you might never see through, because social media does that to us. It makes us see a lot of things. We consume a lot of things. And then that oftentimes makes us feel confused as to whether our lives are good enough, as to whether our goals are enough, whether the things that we want are enough for us to want. Living through other people's lenses will make you regret lost opportunities, because let's be fair, everything that we lose in life isn't to destroy us. There are things that we lose or things that we never got a chance to do that was to preserve us. But then if you're looking at social media, you're thinking, why didn't I stay with that guy? He could have done this for me. Why didn't I finish this that I started? Maybe that's just not your calling, but you see someone else doing that thing and you start comparing who you are right now. And you're like, I could have been that person. I remember this post that I saw on TikTok where a girl, it blew up and everything, and I got the point, but I'm just showing you how social media can impact us. I remember there was this girl that shared that at the time when Jackie Aina was an OG creator, she started her YouTube channel and she never followed through. So I remember her saying that If she had continued, she could have been like a Jackie Aina with similar amount of followers, the fan base. And I thought to myself, or maybe not. Maybe you would have been doing this for 10 years. You would have been miserable. You probably would have been burnt out, and you probably would not get the results that Jackie Aina gets, because it's more than just sitting behind a camera. So I thought to myself, this is what social media does, because now she sees that as a missed opportunity. Meanwhile, it was probably just not her calling. Chances are what she's doing in her life right now is exactly what she's called to do. She's looking through Jackie's lens. She's looking at what Jackie Aina has, the opportunities that she's gotten, the life that this content creating gave to her. But she's not looking at the fact that, honey, you're just seeing it through her lens. She's not showing you what it looks like through her eyes. You're unable to see what it looks like through her eyes. And oftentimes we do that. Viewing life through other people's lenses can make you feel stuck, unfulfilled. Let's be honest here and transparent. How many times have you come across something on social media and thought, that could have been me? I wish that was me. And that is okay, because sometimes if you're looking at it like this person is inspiring me, that's fine. But a lot of us are not able to do that. We are not able to live in our own realities. And therefore, we depend on the lens of others to tell us whether or not we're doing this life thing right, to tell us whether or not we have the right concept of what success should look like. We depend on other people's lenses to tell us what our partners should look like, how they should treat us, what should be our boundaries, what should be our non-negotiables. There are a lot of people who literally live on social media to decide how to decorate their homes, how to feed their children, which school their kids should attend, what their partner should be doing. There are people, and I kid you not, you might not be one of them, but there are people who have no idea what a love language is, have no idea how they want to be loved, have no idea what they're looking for in a mate, but they have expectations based on what they see through other people's lenses. In order to start seeing life through your own eyes, you have to be still. And I know for many people that sounds like punishment. Be still. It's in the stillness that you can hear God's voice. It's in the stillness that you can figure out who you are. It's in the stillness that you can decipher what is good for you, what isn't. That's where you can really figure out, is this really what I want, or is this really something that I saw in a 7-second reel and felt good about it and suddenly I want it? Do I really desire this thing? Will this thing bring me peace? Will this thing bring me contentment? Being still could mean spending more time in prayer. That could mean journaling more, or journaling, going to therapy, because sometimes we need a little help. Some of us know how to shut it down. Some of us know how to unplug from the social platforms, from other people's opinions, but there are some of us who need help. And so if you need a therapist to help you to just bring everything to a calm, then if that's what you have to do to start seeing life through your own eyes, then that's just what you'll have to do. One of the things that I would advise anyone, and that's something that I've been practicing for a while, be intentional about who and what you consume. That is key, because I'm not here to bash social media. Here I am on social media. I am not saying there's anything wrong with social media. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with family who want to tell you what you should do. Sometimes they're trying to guide you. Some are trying to control you. There is nothing wrong with being inspired and motivated by other people. What you have to do, though, is figure out who and what you consume. I started practicing this for maybe about a year or 2 years now, where if I come across something on social media and it makes me feel bothered in any way, whether it is violence, it is something being done with a child or to a child, whatever it is, if it makes me feel off, instantly I'll block that person, or I'll select not interested if it's on my explore page. You have to control what you consume. If you find that when you watch content with people showing overconsumption, with people showing luxury items, you find that you get upset like, oh, they're not even doing anything for it. Why did this person get that? And you feel any form of hurt. You feel like you're being treated unfairly. You feel like you're at a disadvantage. Hey, it is okay to unfollow that person. It is okay to block that person. If it affects how you see yourself in a negative way, if it affects how you function in life, then it is okay to not consume that content. Intentionally not consume that content. I have seen people compare their lives, compare their spouses to other people's spouses based on a 20-second Instagram reel, based on a 1 minute TikTok video. You automatically sum up based on what you see through someone's lens on social media. You decide that your partner is inadequate. You decide that your partner lacks effort. You decide that you aren't as valuable because you might not have the time to do these things. You might not have the passion to do these things. And this might not even be you. So you have to decide, what do you consume and how does that make you feel? Sometimes you just have to learn that if you're going to be a consumer on social media, you have to build your For You page, your Explore page, brick by brick. You have to pack that thing up with things that make you feel good, things that make you feel inspired, people that make you feel motivated, people that speak to your inner person, that makes you want to become your best self. But if you find that listening to or watching people trigger you or makes you have negative emotions, then a way to see life through your eyes is to get rid of these things. You have to learn to trust your process. Whether or not anyone is supporting you, whether or not anyone is clapping for you, whether or not there's anyone in your corner cheering for you, you have to trust your process. You cannot compare your process, your race to someone else's. Focus on your process and trust it, knowing that you're doing what you're supposed to do, knowing that you are exactly where God wants you to be. And I know sometimes it's hard because whatever it is that you might believe in, you might somewhat, I trust that this is what God called me to, but then you expect to see a long line of supporters behind you. You expect to see your loved ones, your family members, your friends behind you to make you feel supported. And I know we all want to feel validated by the people that we love, the people that we have in our lives. The fact is, sometimes you just have to go trust the process yourself. I learned something and I stick to that till today. The days when I feel like, wow, I thought you would support me on this, I remember that people only support you when it's popular to do so. People will believe in you when the other person who they don't think know you enough start believing in you. People trust your vision when they see it coming to fruition. So trust your process, regardless of what it looks like to others right now. Trust that everything will work out. I want to encourage you that in order to see life through your eyes, you'll have to make room for imperfect decisions, for growth. A lot of times, what we don't see is how people fail many times over and over and over again before they get to where they are. You'll see a person doing something right now and they're successful at it right now. But what you might not see through their lens is the number of times they failed to get there, the number of times they got it wrong, the number of times they've cried themselves to sleep and probably decided, you know what, this is not for me, this is not yielding results. But then if you are looking at their perfection right now, you're looking at the fact that they have mastered their craft right now, you might forget the human aspect of it, the aspect that has you making mistakes, the part of it that has you growing through the process. I tell you what, I am recording right now. If you're listening in on any of the platforms or you're watching, I am using a new microphone that I recently got, which is an upgrade. I wish I had my old mic. I'll probably show it to you in another video, the mic that I started out with. And I can tell you, I struggled with that mic, but not only that, my very first YouTube video, I think, where I sat down to try to record, I recorded for like 30 minutes introducing myself to the YouTube space. to find that when I moved my SD card, put it in my laptop, there was no sound. I was devastated because I was free flowing. I was just pouring from the heart. And to find that I was talking to myself for 30 minutes and no one could hear anything I said. I went on YouTube and I'm like, oh my God, there has to be a way how to fix this. They're like, well, you can talk over it. And I'm like, talk? What? Voice over? No, that's not going to work because people will see my lips moving. And I was devastated. When I just started out, I couldn't quite figure out lighting. So I had this really bright light hitting me in the face and the sides of my face was dark. And then I started looking at other people's videos. And every time I looked at someone's video, I realized that I was missing something. I was missing something. And I would not scroll back to their 9 years ago or 10 years ago videos. I'd be looking at these really big YouTubers and I'm like, how do I get my light to do that? How do I get this crisp quality? And I can tell you, I have changed. Probably this is my fourth mic in 2 years. I have changed lighting. Well, there's one that I have, and I will say I've had that for maybe 4 years. It was a really good investment, my ring light that I use. This thing has managed moves and migration and it's still standing. But outside of that, I have been growing. I have added as I felt was necessary. I have things that I'm like, man, why did I spend money on that? This is me rambling. All I'm trying to say to you is you have to give yourself room to grow. Do I have a lot more growing to do? Absolutely. Hey, I shot my own YouTube channel in the foot. I did. I'll talk about it another time, but my views have tanked because of something that I did, a decision that I made that I have to live with. And so this is me looking at life through my eyes. I could have given up and said, you know what? This is my fault. I really did something to affect my views. I thought it was good advice. The advice came from YouTube, but then I learned later on that this is actually counterproductive based on what I want to do. I could have said, well, I see all these YouTubers still getting really high views and growing. I could have decided to quit, looked at life through their lens and decided that, well, they haven't done anything to sabotage their own channel and they're doing good, so I should stop. But no, me looking at life through my eyes says, okay, this is the reality. This is what happened. This is what I'm going to do. And I am going to grow. Did I make this bad decision? Yes. Will I quit because of what other people might say or think? Absolutely not. Seeing life through your eyes means seeing yourself the way that God sees you. Being here in the now, being present, but knowing that this is how God sees you. I will share with you I have my little, I don't know what you call this, my little binder notebook thingy that I put Bible verses in that I will remember and that I can pull back on. So right here it says self-doubt. These are for the days when I fail to see life through my eyes or through God's eyes. And I'll read it to you. 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. That is reassuring me to live life through my eyes. 2 Corinthians 12:19. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Psalm 139:14. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. And I'll give you one last one. Ephesians 2 verse 10. For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things he planned for us long ago. I share those with you. So on the days when you're wondering if you're enough, when you're questioning whether or not your current reality matches up to another person, what they're showing through their lens, I want you to reassure yourself that your present life, your real life experiences are worth enjoying. When you take all the time focused, locked in, scrolling on social media for hours and hours and hours, you miss out on what it is right now. I was having a conversation with someone that I know. As a matter of fact, he was the one who inspired this topic. And I was saying to him that a lot of people find it hard to just live in real life. You'll see it every day. There are people who are in debt because they cannot enjoy life through their eyes. There are people who are miserable, who do whatever is necessary. I'll share this example with you that I shared with my best friend. There's this girl that I once followed on Instagram. I stopped following her. The reason why I unfollowed her was that she shared that in order to get photos for content for Instagram, she would go to IKEA late in the evening when there weren't much people in there, go with her friend, travel with change of outfits, go to IKEA and pose in these sections, the living room areas, the kitchens, the refrigerators, and post these pictures, editing out the prices, the tags, and all that. She was showing like behind the scenes, and she said, what you don't see is a number of times we have been chased by security, we have been chased out of malls, etc., etc. This is where we get the content. No, I didn't unfollow her because she cared to trick the crowd. I unfollowed her because I'm like, why would I want to consume this content? Why would I want to consume content from someone who would go out of their way? What would end up happening in this situation is she would be living through someone else's lens. I would be living through her lens, and so on and so forth. Now, if you don't feel like your real life is good enough for consumption, then that makes me a little bit concerned. And that's just the way that I look at it, because there are people who they don't do too much. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't curate your life, because one thing will always happen where my life is concerned. I will curate sections of my life to show you what my life looks like. I will never have my camera on 24/7. I'll never invite you into every single detail of my life, but I will plan to curate that section for you. That's why I am intentional about the content that I consume, just like I'm intentional about what I create. What I want you to do this week is take one step that reflects your vision, not your mom's vision, not your friends, not your favorite social media influencer, but something that reflects your vision. Let me know in the comments what that one thing will be. That one thing that you are passionate about, that one thing that makes you feel alive. And it doesn't have to be anything big. It could just be rest, stepping back from the social media space so you can enjoy your right now and find your center. Comment it down below. Let me know what's that one thing when you think about it that you'll be doing this week for you. If you're watching on YouTube, I look forward to reading in the comments. If you're listening in on Spotify, on Apple, on Amazon, I also look forward to seeing your replies, and we can meet there. We can talk more about this. Just let me know what is your plan for the week. I am rooting for you. If you haven't yet subscribed to my Instagram channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. If you are listening on any of the other platforms, also go ahead, follow me, give me a 5-star rating. I would prefer, just saying. And of course, leave your comments so that we can get to know each other more, so that we can continue this conversation. And of course, share with your friends, because why wouldn't you? Thank you so very much for joining me in this episode, and I do look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!
Walk her down the valley, pack a piece of heaven for the bottoms of her feet. Teach her how to jump and how to stretch when she reach.